This is your Cosmic Briefing, a short clip from the Urantia book for dummies. Please, stand by.
Let's expand on this metaphor and see if it can help us see what the Urantia book has to tell us on this subject. The three most important elements to the tightrope walker are this. First, balance. If you don't have balance, you wouldn't even get on the rope. Second, what is the rope made of, and what condition is it in? And third, how strong and secure are the anchor points? His very survival depends on the quality of these elements of his reality. So, let's begin with balance, because the process of seeking equilibrium as we move through this interregnum is the essence of civilization, as we seek certainty, safety, and security. Balance is also fundamental to the individual in order to function in society, and for society to function at all. We are most acutely aware of balance when we lose it, when we don't have it, when we are knocked off balance. And today we see this everywhere in our world. The whole world system is out of balance, and so many are in a state of being humanly dislocated. And this is the state of anomie, as we discussed in our last section. In order to maintain balance, the tightrope walker uses a long balancing pole, like this one. So in this metaphor, this balancing pole represents your worldview, your opinion of how the world works, which usually develops around the time we leave our parents' home and strike out on our own. The balance pole provides several advantages to the tightrope walker and to us because it distributes mass away from the pivot point, which helps withstand external sources of torque like sudden gusts of wind, which are the storms of our life. Your worldview is your center of gravity. Balance is an art. It takes practice. Remember learning to ride a bike? We didn't get it right off the bat, did we? Equilibrium in the human mind system is the art of balancing your center of gravity, your inner world with your outer world. The Urantia book calls this the art of living, developing a living philosophy for living, a decision-making system that helps us to move forward on the tightrope and find peace and confidence, and build a worldview that supports your walk along the tightrope of life. For the purposes of our demonstration, let's place things of the outer reality on one end of the equilibrium pole and elements of the inner reality on the opposite end. We can immediately see that in order to keep our balance on the tightrope of life, we need to keep our inner reality balanced with our outer world of our sensory material reality. A task that is proven over and over again to be so difficult for we mere humans. In paper 111, the Urantia book tells us the advances of true civilization are all born in this inner world of mankind. It is only the inner life that is truly creative. Civilization can hardly progress when the majority of youth of any generation devote their interests and energies to the materialistic pursuits of the sensory or outer world. It goes on. The inner and the outer worlds have a different set of values. Any civilization is in jeopardy when 3/4 of its youth enter materialistic professions and devote themselves to the pursuit of sensory activities of the outer world. Civilization is in danger when youth neglect to interest themselves in ethics, sociology, genetics, philosophy, the fine arts, religion, and cosmology. Ideas may take origin in the stimulus of the outer world, but ideals are born in the creative realms of the inner world. Today, the nations of the world are directed by men who have a superabundance of ideas, but they are poverty-stricken in ideals. That is the explanation of poverty, divorce, war, and racial hatreds. The things that lead us astray and get us into the most trouble are often just short-term pleasures. Lust. Lust. We love lust. Greed. Witness the 2008 financial meltdown. Vanity. Remember that song, You're So Vain? I thought she was singing about me. Gluttony. Right? Yum yum. We love our gluttony. But over time, we find less and less satisfaction in these, and eventually we learn that essentially life is a moral drama, not a hedonistic one. It is the things we call character that endure over the long term. Courage, honesty, altruism, humility. People with character are capable of a long endurance on the tightrope amid the storms of life. They thrive on problem solving. And as we saw in section 2 of this same chapter, it's the problematic life conditions of evolution that have moved us forward ever since the dawn of the human adventure, what we are calling complexification. We are being groomed as problem solvers. Character people are constantly moving forward, constantly staying attached to other people and important causes and callings, through thick and thin, the salt of the earth, as we say. As we play the part or the role that's assigned to us, we learn to see that no external conflict is as consequential or as dramatic as the inner campaign against our own shortcomings, what Nietzsche calls our overcoming. Character is built in the course of our inner confrontation with the outer urges, desires, and lures that pull us off the tightrope and into the fall, the abyss of despair, depression, fear, worry, anxiety. In his book, The Road to Character, David Brooks, a well-known columnist for the New York Times, wrote about this struggle between the inner and the outer realms of consciousness. He wrote, "Recently I have been thinking about the differences between the resume virtues and the eulogy virtues. The resume virtues are the ones you list on your resume, the skills that you brought to the job market and that contribute to external success. The eulogy virtues are deeper. They're the virtues that get talked about at your funeral, the ones that exist at the core of your being. Whether you're kind, brave, honest, or faithful, what kind of relationships you formed." He goes on, "Most of us would say that the eulogy virtues are more important than the resume virtues. But I confess," he says, "for long stretches of my life, I have been spending more time thinking about the resume than the eulogy virtues." He writes, "Our educational system is certainly orientated around the resume virtues more than the eulogy virtues. Public conversation is too. The self-help tips in magazines, the nonfiction bestsellers. Most of us have a clearer strategy for how to achieve career success than we do for how to develop a profound character and cultivate peace of mind." In paper 195, the Urantia book tells us, "Even secular education could help in this great spiritual renaissance if it would pay more attention to the work of teaching youth how to engage in life planning and character progression. The purpose of all education should be to foster and further the supreme purpose of life, the development of a majestic and well-balanced personality. There's a great need for the teaching of moral discipline in the place of so much self-gratification." Responding to what he calls the culture of Big Me, which emphasizes external success, Brooks challenges us to rebalance the scales between our resume virtues, achieving wealth, fame, and status, and our eulogy virtues, those that exist at the core of our being: kindness, bravery, honesty again, and faithfulness, focusing on what kind of relationships we have formed and on the deeper values that should inform our life and provide us an opportunity to rethink our priorities and strive to build rich inner lives marked by humility and moral depth. With that, to become a better person, a better family member, a better citizen, and to make a better contribution to the world we live in that is now in danger, quivering on the brink, and needs our help. I think David Brooks hit the nail on the head.
This has been a Cosmic Briefing, a short clip from the Urantia Book for Dummies. Please click the subscribe button above and then follow these links for a full presentation of this briefing. Thank you.